Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren hit the campaign trail this week amid speculation that the Massachusetts senator is on Clinton's short list of VP contenders under consideration. Joining me now to talk about this new alliance is Madison Case. She's the Public Affairs Director at Levitt Communications. Welcome back, Madison.
Thanks again for having me.
Now, Elizabeth Warren is to the left of Hillary Clinton, so would she really attract any new voters?
So I think initially people felt that Elizabeth Warren could bring some of the Bernie voters over to Hillary Clinton. And so initially she really seemed like a good fit for Hillary. It would have been a doubly historic ticket with two women on the ticket. But to be honest, I saw a poll 2 days ago that said that only 81% of Bernie supporters had already committed to voting for Hillary. And only 8% of Bernie voters had defected to Trump. And remember, we're 5 months out to the election, so that's a lot of game time to be played. But at this point, just seeing how many of Bernie's voters have already moved to support Clinton leads me to believe that Elizabeth Warren doesn't have a whole lot to offer in terms of bringing voters from a more progressive angle onto Hillary's side.
Any thoughts on who would bring more voters, if anybody?
It's a really good question. There have been a lot of names that have been floated. I think that this will really come down to the states in the industrial Rust Belt. So you've got Ohio, you've got Pennsylvania, you've got Michigan. These are all folks who, like I said, used to be in manufacturing, and a lot of their jobs have gone overseas. And so when you're talking about keeping those voters as Democrats, then you're going to need somebody who can really speak to those folks. So Hillary is going to be looking at which of those folks can bring some of those Rust Belt folks into the fold and help her win the election in the fall. And I just don't know if Elizabeth Warren is that person.
And she has been credited as being sort of a populist sort of candidate who might attract those blue-collar voters. So you don't think so, though?
She's in the Northeast, she's in Massachusetts. She certainly has a strong message. I mean, she, more than any other Democrat I've seen so far, has done a really good job of attacking Trump. She sort of found the sweet spot there. She's a great attack dog. And more than anything, she really motivates and inspires the base. I mean, we need her on the campaign trail. I am not for a moment suggesting that she should focus on her duties in the Senate. I think we need her on the campaign trail. I think she's an important voice in the progressive movement. But I just don't know if she's the right pick for VP to secure those states where Hillary will be the most vulnerable.
Right. And Clinton has really mentioned that she likes how Warren really ruffles Trump's feathers. Has the Democratic Party ever seen anything like this?
I think Elizabeth Warren has been the most effective in ruffling Donald Trump's feathers. You've seen a host of Democrats go after Trump, but Warren is one of the only ones who's gotten one of those coveted nicknames that Trump likes to give his most vocal opponents. The fact that he's really going after her shows that she's really gotten under his skin and therefore has been really effective. So again, I think that it shows her strength and her effectiveness on the campaign. And again, the direct result of that is Trump really going after her on a personal level, calling her Pocahontas and all of these other names that he so well does in these campaigns.
Sort of adding a new notch to the belt, getting that nickname from Trump, Goofy Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
We see them campaigning together in matching outfits, but Clinton and Warren have had a frosty relationship in the past. Warren was the only female senator to not endorse Clinton during her primary battle with Bernie Sanders. She also skipped out on an all-female senator fundraiser held for Clinton. That was, I think, back in November. In her book, Warren accused Clinton of flipping her position on an overhaul of bankruptcy laws because of her cozy connections to the banking industry. Do you think that was a fair criticism?
Look, at the end of the day, Elizabeth Warren wants the most progressive candidate on the ticket to win. Is everybody going to agree on everything? Of course not. Are people going to have policy differences? Of course. And that's what makes democracy so important and vital, and that's why it exists. So whether or not Warren and Clinton agree on financial services matters is one thing. But I think the most important thing to take from this is that they both agree that we need a strong middle class. We need to create jobs to bring that middle class to the place where it used to be. They believe in the inclusion of all people, regardless of creed, color, belief system. And so, again, Clinton and Warren are far more aligned on the issues than they are separate. As Ed Koch used to say, if you agree with me 80% of the time, vote for me. If you agree with me 100% of the time, see a psychiatrist. So, that's just the way it is. Of course, they're going to have differences.
A lot of people speculate that Clinton having a senator as a running mate opens the door for vulnerabilities. Do you think this could hurt Warren's chances?
I don't think having a senator necessarily hurts Clinton's chances. I think certain senators may yield some consequences that Clinton may not want. For example, Sherrod Brown was someone that they had talked about a lot as a potential VP pick. However, if Sherrod Brown were to be the VP and Clinton were to win, then John Kasich would be in charge of appointing the new senator, the way Blagojevich had to replace Obama in that Senate seat. And so I don't think the Democrats are going to want to give up that seat by default by choosing a senator like Sherrod Brown. But a senator in general, I actually think that that's a pretty likely scenario at this point.
At the end of the day, will Clinton actually pick Warren to be her running mate, or are they just having fun on the campaign trail?
In my opinion, I think they're just having fun on the campaign trail. Elizabeth Warren has nothing to lose right now. She's not running. She's a great attack dog. She's smart. She's extremely progressive and has gotten the progressive movement behind her. But Clinton doesn't really have a whole lot to gain at this point by picking her. She doesn't need Massachusetts. As I said before, 81% of Bernie voters 5 months out have already committed to voting for Clinton. So originally it was thought that Warren would bring those voters over. Doesn't really seem that that's necessary at this point. So I don't think Warren is the pick. I think that some of the other picks, like a Tim Kaine, I heard a Cory Booker as a possible pick the other day. That could be very interesting. But as much as I would like to see two women on the ticket, I just don't think that it's the right time for Elizabeth Warren.
Lots of options out there, and certainly, at the very least, fun to talk about it. Madison Case, Public Affairs Director at Levitt Communications, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks so much for having me.